So good morning, my lovely yogis. Welcome to your mat. It's so lovely when you can do this at home and just step onto your mat, and it's really convenient. We're blessed to have this way of sharing yoga together. So just sitting or lying, however you prefer to start your practice. And we'll just have a few minutes just to kind of sink into this energy. Notice your energies today, whether you're a little bit depleted, need a bit more energy, or whether you're full of beans and need to discard a little bit of energy. I find yoga does both. If you're a little bit low, it boosts you, and if you're buzzing, it kind of brings you back into balance. Whatever you need, your practice will often just give you. So grounding down. Have a moment to scan through chakras. Let's start at the crown. How have you been connecting to everything around you? And then your third eye. How have you been sleeping? Has it been hard to figure things out and make decisions and decide things? This is our sort of intuitive centre. And then your throat. What conversations have you had this week? Have they been uplifting and nourishing, or the same old thing? Or have they been quite depressing and left you feeling quite low? It's always interesting to observe our dialogue outwards with people, but also our internal dialogue and what is left with us afterwards. And then checking in with your heart. Everything is very linked, heart, throat, what we feel, we say, or sometimes we don't. So sometimes stuff can get clogged around the heart, what we want to express. And then taking in how your solar plexus feels today, this energy centre above your navel, where your confidence lies. Sometimes a dialogue with somebody will hurt our feelings and then leave us really lethargic and unmotivated. So we can see how life plays out through our energy centres. Other times you might have the most inspiring conversation with a friend or a colleague, and it just rears you into action and you can't wait to get going with something. So noticing how it feels in the body. And then our sacral, below the navel, our lower back. Again, this is linked with emotions as well, and our creativity. Sometimes this can get blocked with people's opinions, or we feel blocked with inspiration from our third eye, and then we can't bring it all the way down the energy so that we can create. And then finally, the root chakra at the base of our spine is about sort of manifesting. It's also about being grounded and feeling secure in this place on earth that you take up, feeling that you deserve your space here, who you are to other people. So I always find it interesting to have a little glance through these chakras now and then and notice where we are, because everything around us does affect us. And then we can be a little bit more focused on where we need to balance, especially on our yoga mat. So if you're seated, just join me lying down. We'll start our stretches. When you're ready, on your next inhale, taking your right arm up and over. We do this every time, but just noticing how it feels today. Lift the foot so the foot's flexed, toes up to the ceiling, and then have a lovely long stretch here. How does it feel to lower into the hip and the leg, creating that space around the waist, and then reaching up with the arm and stretch the fingers out, and then pointing toes, lovely stretch over the leg. And then when you're ready, we'll exhale, taking the arm down, palms up just for a brief moment, just a breath perhaps, noticing the difference, and then inhaling left arm over. And same again, bringing foot into flex position, toes lifted, lovely stretch into the calf muscle, and then creating some space this side. And pointing toes. Really enjoying how it feels just to stretch the body. Exhale, arm down. Just a brief breath here. And then inhaling up both arms over. Just let the chin tuck in a little. And then just a lovely long full body stretch, flexing and then pointing toes alternately. It's really nice to feel the shoulder blades pull away from the spine. And then when you're ready, relaxing the arms back down to the side of the body. So just tilting the head to the right. And then over to the left. And then see if you can bring the chin to chest. And then tilting the chin up to the ceiling, just opening up through the throat. Coming back to centre. And then we're just going to go into our head spiral. So just as if your nose is at centre point, just start to turn the head till you reach an outer spiral. And then we can go in the opposite direction on an inward spiral. Coming back to centre, then just dropping the head to the right again, noticing if there's a little bit more space here. And then over to the left. And then coming back to centre. With the palms facing up, we're just going to shrug the shoulders up to the ears and then down again. And as we do this against the mat, it's quite nice to feel, wherever you feel, where you connect to the mat. And then bringing the fingers to shoulders, we can rotate here, the arms round. And again, against the mat, you're going to feel that little lift. Feel all the parts touching the mat. And then the other way a few times. And then we can take the arms up to the ceiling. Palms can face each other. Stretch the fingers wide and we can open and close the hands. Rotate the wrists. And then just palms facing each other again. And then just make some circles. Some nice big circles. Hands going perhaps in the opposite direction to each other. And then the other way. And then can you just feel your shoulder blades rocking a little on your mat. And then coming to a stillness. Bring the knees in for a moment. Just have a little rock. And then we'll draw the right knee into chest. Take the left leg down again like we normally do. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale coming up. Inhale when you're ready to come down. And then left side. Deep breath in. Exhale up. Inhale down. Both knees in. This is always a lovely stretch to do every time. Deep breath. And then exhaling up. Holding the breath out, just consciously, just knowing how long is comfortable for you. And then inhale down. Have a little rock. So taking the right leg up to the ceiling, and we'll make some big circles. Warming up the hip. And then other way. Other side, left leg. Other direction, just a few times. And then we'll bring these in, do some hip circles. Bring the feet so that they touch and they stay together. So knees away and then out and back and around. Lovely little rock on the lumbar spine and then the other way a few times. Let's take the legs up into the air to cycle, warm up knees. feeling a very gentle engagement on your core. And another way. And then just place the left leg down, keep the right leg raised, and you can bring the hands behind your thigh just for a little stretch into the hamstring. And then you can flex your foot and just start to rotate. You can stretch the toes out wide as you turn them into little circles. And then other way with your foot. Bring your right foot onto your left knee and then pulling around, hugging around the left thigh. Another little stretch for the glutes here. Thread the needle. And then we'll swap sides. So bringing the left leg up. Now, hands around the thigh. And then just turning the foot, opening and closing the toes. Other way. Nice little stretch here. And then bringing that foot over to the opposite knee. And then thread the needle. Or reverse pigeon. Try to relax where you might feel some tension in your muscles. And then releasing. Rolling up to seated. And then just joining me in butterfly. Just enjoying how it feels through the hips. Just exploring whatever you feel, even if it feels perhaps a little achy, as long as it's not painful. And some nice deep belly breaths. It's interesting, the breath, isn't it? Sometimes I've shown you some different mudras, in different ways to hold your hands to direct the breath, or notice how the breath moves very differently through the body. So just lift yourself up. I'm going to show you another one that I find really interesting. Just stretch your legs out in front of you so that they're not crossed. And have a nice sort of length to your spine. Not so that you're completely rigid, but that you're not collapsing your spine. And just rest your palms face down. Fingers can rest together on your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment. And without overly breathing, I just want you to sort of to breathe consciously and perhaps a little deeper than you normally would. So let the eyelids close. And just breathe. And I want you to just become aware of where you feel most of the movement with the breath. I then want you to flip your hands over so that the palms are facing upwards now. Keep your eyes closed. And perhaps notice a very slight difference in where the breath seems to move. Where it feels like it's moving more. Let's just flip the hands over again so the palms are face down. Flip them over again, palms facing up. And then flip them over so the palms face down again. And then you can just gently open your eyes. It's a really fun thing to experience that. So if you did notice, when your palms are faced down or facing up, you're breathing into the lower lobes of your lungs, and you can perhaps feel it a little bit deeper diaphragmatically around here. When the palms are faced down, where we started, It's the middle lobes of the lungs. And so the breath feels like it's just a little bit higher up in the body. So I'll leave that one with you. You might want to come back to that later in the day and just notice that very, very subtle difference between palms down and palms up. And so understanding this, we do a lot of movement in the day with no, don't do that. And that's very sort of dysregulating on your breathing and on your energy flow. So just a lovely little deeper bit of knowledge about how breath and pranayama works in your body. Okay, lovelies, I'd like you to come to standing. We're going to do a few little flow sequences today. We'll start off with Earth sequence because it's a lovely gentle one to just get the body warmed up. And then we're going to go straight into a sun salutation and moon salutation. So we're going to do 3 sequences together. But they are nice and gentle. So before we just start, I would like to just take a swan dive down. Let's just stretch through the back before we do come into any of these flows. So deep inhale, take the arms up. And then coming from the hips, not the waist, let's just fold forward into a swan dive. Hang like a rag doll for a moment. Bend into your knees. You can bend alternate knees, just shift the hips. If you need to, release through the neck and the head. Let the arms just feel heavy and feel that lovely stretch through the back of your body, backs of your legs. And when you're ready, let's inhale, roll up. So firstly, coming into Earth sequence, slightly to the left side of your mat. And we'll make a diamond shape with our first finger and thumb. Deep breath in. Exhale. And just enjoying this sort of slow, meditative movement. Stretch the arms out wide. Feel that lovely length through the arms. And then last time here. As the arms come up, right foot to the side. Come into your squat. Only come down as far as you're comfortable today. How do your knees feel as you lower down? And then as the hands come to the ceiling, we turn to the right. Right leg is straight in front of you, left leg slightly bent beneath you. And then just enjoying shifting your weight backwards and forwards. Notice your balance. As you breathe through this practice, are you aware of where your breath is moving, whether it's belly breath or whether it's very chest breath? After 3, we swivel to the other side. Breathing in. Long exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, round and down to in front. One more time. And as the arms come to the ceiling, we face the front for a forward fold. Take a moment, pause here if you want to. And then breathing in when you're ready to come up. Really enjoying this beautiful sequence. If there was one sequence that I could only do in yoga, I think this one would be the one. It's so gentle and so very balancing for root chakra and heart. And then when you're ready, bring in right foot to left, hands to heart center. The body has had a lovely kind of all-round movement, a nice stretch, but it doesn't feel exhausting. It feels quite replenishing and revitalizing. So we're going to come straight into Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Joining me at the top of your mat. This is an energizing sequence, and then we'll follow with the moon salutation, Chandra Namaskar, which is more of a calming. So again, just enjoy noticing how your energies feel after each practice. Deep breath in. And releasing arms down. Exhale. Inhale, salute the sun. Folding forwards. And then lifting the back, flattening the back and gazing ahead of you. Palms come down to the toes and then right leg back. Keeping the hands on the mat, we just lower the hips and pelvis into this lovely stretch here. Down dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, knees down, coming back. Flow into, let's take Sphinx first, lower back bend today. We can come into Cobra later on. Just notice how you're feeling here if you have to be gentle. Satya and Ahimsa as always. And then palms under the shoulders, push up into down dog. Left foot forward between the hands. Again, just adjust your foot if you need to take it forward a little bit more, gazing up. Feet together at the top of the mat. Linking thumbs, sweep up. Okay, other side for sun salutation. Deep breath in. And release. Inhale. Gentle back bend. Forward fold. Lifting, looking ahead. Left leg back. Gazing up. Down dog. Inhale. Exhale down. And back. Inhale as we flow into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale to down dog. Right foot forwards. Feet together. And then coming up. Lovely. Just take a breath, take a few moments. Hands to heartbeat. And then we're going to come into Chandra Namaskar, moon salutation. Sometimes I like to take this a little bit slower, make it a bit more of a flow rather than sort of holding the postures for too long. So joining me at the top of the mat again, hands to heart center, deep breath in and release. Flow the arms down, then float the arms up, forward fold. Looking ahead. Hands down, left leg back, and then coming up into crescent, dipping the hips. Hands float down and then down dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, coming down and back. Flow into Cobra. And then up into down dog. Right leg forwards. Feeling stable, then raising the arms into crescent. Feet together and sweeping up. Other side, deep breath in. Exhale. Just float through this like you're gliding through water. Hands down, right leg back. Feeling stable, raising arms into crescent. Down dog. Coming down and back. Inhale, flowing to cobra. Coming up. Right leg forwards. And then feet together. Other side of moon salutation. Deep breath in. And folding forwards. Lifting up. Right leg back. Coming into crescent. Down dog. Coming down. Flow into cobra. Back up into down dog. And then left leg forwards. Arms up. Feet together. And bringing hands to heart. Okay, lovelies. Have a moment back on your mat in Shavasana after just those 3 lovely sequences together. Have a nice sigh. And just let your out breath be slightly longer than your in breath. Just to bring everything back into balance. Feel your heart rate raised a little. Perhaps feel some lovely heat moving through your body. Everything feels a little bit more supple and energized. But also notice possibly a calm feeling that comes in alongside that. It's lovely to just observe the body after certain practices. Very balancing for your right and left brain hemispheres. So bringing your right knee into chest, then your left knee. Have a lovely rock. Enjoy how you're feeling. Rolling around in a few circles, just massaging the back. And then we'll come up to standing again. I'm going to do the little collection of movements where we come into Trikonasana and warriors. I'm just going to draw your awareness to a few slight adjustments that can really enhance your pose. So just beginning with your legs about a leg length apart. Bring the energy through your body. Raise the arms. If you turn the whole arm over, you'll feel active through the biceps, and then just the wrists back round, and you'll still feel that lovely activation here. Bring the hands to the hips. You're going to turn in the toes of your left foot and out the toes of your right. With one small adjustment here, just draw the elbows in line with your body. When you look down at your front foot, can you just bring your foot slightly in towards the midline? So just turn the foot ever so slightly to the left. And there's a reason for this. So extend your right arm, and then we're going to come down into triangle pose. So from here, I'd like you to have the awareness of you rotating out this front leg, like you're turning out your right thigh outwardly, external rotation. And with the back leg, your left leg, sort of engage your muscles as if you're internally rotating the leg. And then what you're doing here, with the front foot, you might notice with this external rotation, the arch is lifted, you're stabilizing a lot more into your ankle and to your knee. With the internal rotation of your back leg, you're activating there, and you're, without dropping the hip, you're releasing through the glute muscle and softening through the back. So coming up gently, not holding you there for too long, but just notice if you're aware of that very gentle distinction from perhaps being very passive in a pose before to being quite active. So just creep now your right foot forwards as we come into Warrior Two. Lovely strong posture here. Notice how this feels. And then we're going to rotate that left hip forward as we come into Warrior One, and perhaps you can sink a little bit deeper into this pose. So you're forward facing in Warrior One. Okay, we're going to come into Warrior Four, which is a balance. Now this can be tricky. So you're in Warrior One, and then we're going to push off from the back foot and lift into what looks like a letter T. And so balancing, looking ahead of you. If you need to put your foot down, that's fine. And then come back into Warrior One. Take your hands behind you. Clasp your hands together, or you can grab your elbows if you wish, whatever feels most comfortable, and lower down over your thigh into Humble Warrior. You can raise the arms behind you if you have that movement. And then gently coming up. Warrior One. Warrior Two. Arms come out in front and behind you. Lower the back arm to the thigh. Raise the front arm into Reverse Warrior or Sun Warrior. And then coming back into Warrior Two. Bring your feet forward facing. Clasp your elbows, and we'll take a little moment's rest here. Deep breath in. And then forward fold. Let your body hang here for a moment. Just notice what you feel through your body. Relax your head. Strong poses. Let the hands rest to the mat. We'll walk the feet in. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Just rolling body up, stacking a vertebrae. And then rolling your shoulders. Okay, I'm going to come into the other side, and I'll talk you through that slight adjustment and rotation of the legs this side as well. So leg length apart to start with. Engage, draw the energy up through the soles of your feet. Activate the biceps, hands to hips. Turn in the toes of the right foot, out the toes of the left foot. And again, just have an awareness of slightly drawing the toes in towards the midline. Make sure your elbows are in line with your body, and then extending your left arm, lowering down. Take a moment here just to come into position first. Take your right arm up if that's comfortable. And so here we have an external rotation of your front leg. So sort of almost trying to encourage the thigh to rotate left and outwards. And an internal rotation of that back leg. And perhaps you feel more stable here. Just, it's a slight difference, but it's a real feeling of stability. Okay, lifting up, Creep your front foot forward a little bit just to create more space between your feet, or your back foot back, coming into warrior two. Take a nice deep breath here, really sink into this, feel that stretch in the hip flexors. Okay, we're going to come into warrior one. So bringing that right hip forwards, maybe just a slight adjustment into your back heel. Let me just come back a little bit. Looking up, feeling strong, feeling steady. And so here we're going to push sort of from the back leg up into warrior four. I'm going to just come back a bit, otherwise I'm coming into the plant. Into a balance. Coming back down. Warrior one. And then opening back up into, go back into warrior one, I forgot something. Bring your hands behind you into humble warrior. And then lowering down over your thigh. Stretching the arms behind you. Lifting up gently. And now coming back into warrior two. Reverse warrior. The hand comes down to the back thigh, raising the front palm, gazing up at the palm. And then coming back. Warrior two. Forward facing feet. Again, clasp your elbows, deep breath in. Exhale as you come down. And really let your whole body hang here. Nice stretch through the back, backs of the legs. Drop the hands down. We'll walk the feet in. And then rolling up. Okay, take yourself down to the mat. And have another moment in Shavasana. Again, another little energizing sequence there. How do you feel? Perhaps you feel lovely and warm. Can you feel your heart beating? Lovely pulse through your body. Just enjoy this moment to rest and pause and just take it all in. And then bring your knees in. Nice gentle rock. Come up and then just come into child's pose. Start with Hatha. Take the knees wide and then bring the forehead down. Let the arms extend in front of you. It's nice to enjoy this compression around the hips. Stretch over the ankles. And then just lift your head a little. Bring your knees in together and we'll come into Balasana, so child's pose. Bring the hands back to your feet and then bring the forehead down. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can always create two fists and rest your forehead like two little bricks. That's nice as well. Nice stretch from the tailbone all the way through the spine here. Relax your shoulders, let your whole body kind of just hunch into a little ball. And then we'll lift up. Nice and slowly. Bring the head up slowly in case there's any dizziness. So we're going to come into what is known as baby camel. So from this kneeling position, just taking the hands behind you. And this is a very gentle baby pose for camel pose. And just lifting the chest, tilting the head back, coming into a nice soft back bend here. And then when you're ready, lift the head and come up to an upright position. And so from here, we'll try camel, which is a deeper pose. So kneeling now, we'll do half camel first, so with one hand. I like to turn the toes under so that it brings my heels a little bit closer to me. And in this pose, we're trying not to lean back into the thighs. We're trying to keep the body quite upright and then come into a gentle back bend. So inhale, raise your right arm. Start to follow your hand as you bring it behind you to your heel or your foot. And then just encourage the chest to straighten and gazing up to the ceiling. So half camel. And you can raise your right arm, or your left arm, sorry. And then coming back, just lifting up, you can bring the arm round to the front. Okay, so coming back to that starting position. Have a moment if you need to, just fold down into child's pose so that you feel counterposed to the curve of your spine. Perhaps rest your forehead, and then we'll come up and do the other side. It's not one of my favourite poses, camel, but it is an interesting one to practice now and then. Okay, lifting up. Slowly bringing the head up. And then we'll come into the other side. If you know that this pose does not suit you or it's going to aggravate, then please don't do it. Please leave it out. So tucking toes under. And we will take the inhale, take the left arm up. Start to rotate it behind you. And if you can reach your heel, just resting fingertips there. And then just straightening that chest and really lifting up into camel pose. You can raise the right arm. And lowering, bringing that left arm back round to the front. Again, just take a pause here in child's pose. Or Hatha if you want to take the knees wide and just drop the forehead down, resting the arms in front. Just releasing, give your hips a little wiggle. Nice deep breaths. Okay, lifting up. Nice and slowly. Come onto your back again. Just let everything rest back in alignment. How do you feel after that pose? As I said earlier, it's not my favourite pose. My back doesn't like to always move that way. But afterwards, it does feel quite nice. The after effects. So draw knees in. We're going to come into a nice gentle bridge now and have a lovely little flex through the spine. So bringing feet to buttocks. We're just going to flow here with the breath. Palms face down. Gentle engagement in belly and pulling on pelvic diaphragm gently. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, push up through the heels. And then exhale, slowly roll down. Keeping that tailbone curled under until everything touches the mat and releases out. And then just coming up again. And then down. And one more time. Coming down. Just extend legs out. Have a moment just to feel that buzzing That lovely little energy moving, perhaps through the feet, thighs, buttocks. Give your tail a wag or rock your pelvis if you need to. Just get a comfortable position. And then drawing knees in, we're going to come into happy baby. So the soles of your feet pointing up to the ceiling, taking the knees out wide. And then if you want to gently rock here, you can. Happy baby pose. Come into a stillness. Bring the knees in. Again, just rock here, very different part of the back that you're rocking on. Rolling up to seated. Come onto your cushion just for a few moments for a breathing practice. So, we've done quite a lot of strong movement today, on purpose. Just thought I'd get you all going a little bit. So you might feel quite warm and quite hot in the body. So we'll practice Sheetali, which is a cooling breath. So if you can make a tube with your tongue like this, then we're going to breathe in, pull the tongue in, and then slowly exhale. Not everybody can make a tube with their tongue. There's a certain proportion of the population that just can't do it. So if you can't, we have to breathe through our teeth like this. Close the mouth. Slow exhale. Okay, so we'll just do this for a little while, and I'd like you, if you are breathing through the tube tongue, you'll start to feel a lovely coolness, perhaps sort of on the roof of the mouth and perhaps the back of the throat as well. So just rest the hands in Dhyana Mudra. You can let the eyelids close if you want, just to draw out distractions, and begin. So breathe in through a tube. Close and exhale. Bring your awareness to all the sensations you feel. And one more time. When you bring your tongue in, perhaps you can feel a nice sort of cool and tingliness on the back of the tongue and the throat now. So relaxing now into your relaxation, either remaining seated or lying down. Perhaps you'll need a blanket or you may not. You might just want a bolster under the knees. Time for you to soften and relax. Let's take a little card from my little angel pack, see what perhaps a little bit of guidance and wisdom we're offered today. This one is called Layla. Let me read it to you, may resonate. So Layla, spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions. Ask the angels to help you gain a positive perspective. Your life has been noisy lately, and you need to escape into a place of natural tranquility. It is time for you to be alone in nature, even if it is just for a brief while. You don't need others' permission to take care of your soul in this way. Simply plan your sojourn and then follow through on those plans. Once you are alone in nature, allow your mind to wander wherever it wants to go. Notice your thoughts and feelings. Perhaps write them down. After a time, speak aloud or silently to the nature angels that surround you. Ask them to clear your body and aura of any stress that you may have absorbed. Then meditate and pray about your desires and intentions. Prayers are amplified by the power of nature, and you will feel very refreshed when you return home. Lovely. Something we could all benefit from. And I know that some of us do like to take a time out in nature, whether that is walking a dog or just taking yourself out for a walk. So as you have the next few minutes to relax, I'd like you to take yourself on that walk. Perhaps you're very familiar with it. You know every little kind of pitfall or grassy verge or tree. You can imagine the scenery ahead of you if you're looking across water. So just for a few moments now, just enjoy mentally rehearsing your walk. It's as good as being there sometimes. The mind doesn't always know the difference to the physical activity and what you bring to mind. Imagine the day or evening or morning. Notice the temperature around you, the smell in the air, the feeling of your clothes on your skin. The sound of every foot placed in front of you, one by one. And also notice that internal feeling of how perhaps it uplifts you, how it opens your heart, your lungs. Lovely feeling of joy or bliss. A pleasantness comes over you. So very gently, just bringing your mind back from wherever it did wander off to. Notice if your mind is quite calm now. And then gently you can just begin to perhaps wiggle fingers and toes. Take a deep breath in and a nice long noisy sigh. Have an observation of how your body feels now, how you feel after your practice. Begin to have a full body stretch if you're lying down. Always feels lovely, like that first stretch in the morning. And then hugging knees in. Had a nice movement today, forwards, backwards, some twists, side stretches, balancing. And then in your own time, rolling up. We'll chant our 3 Oms. Always a lovely way to end your practice. Very balancing for your throat as well. So just joining me. And as I mentioned before, even with the hands, palms down, which was that middle lobe of your lung, palms up, the lower lobe, try that later, just when you have a few moments quiet to yourself, and really hone in on the difference in how breath works. So same with our fingers and different ways of holding fingers. We can go into this another time, but it does change the energy and breath pathways in the body. So let your eyelids close. Take a deep breath in. Bringing hands to heart, rubbing the palms, feel that lovely warmth. And then palms over the eyes, gently blinking, looking at the colours, let the light through, and then hands to heart. Om Shanti. Namaste.